Supabase asked us to roast their landing page, so here we are. We took a couple days to deliberate because we only wanted to give meaningful feedback. The biggest issue that our team came across on the Superbase landing page was figuring out why and how. First, why would a developer choose Superbase? Second, how does the infrastructure actually help achieve what Superbase claims? Which brings us to our first comment. The main messaging is, build in a weekend, scale to millions. This tells us that Superbase can be used to build highly scalable apps quickly. But that gets a bit confusing with the mention of Firebase and Postgres. When I think of Firebase, I think of just a database, and that's because the last time I used it was in college. And we're not going to talk about how long ago that was because that's just going to make me depressed. But that after Superbase claims to be a Firebase alternative, they mention Postgres, which people usually think of as a relational database. And this gets a bit confusing when you position yourself as an alternative for Firebase, because Firebase is a NoSQL database, which then makes me wonder, how are you comparing a relational database to a NoSQL database when they're completely different? So our advice would be to just drop the Firebase stuff completely or don't mention Postgres. Instead, you can say something like, your all-in-one toolkit for hosting and managing your database, handling authentication, creating instant APIs, managing real-time subscriptions, and much, much more. You get the idea. I'm not writing your copy for free though, unless, you subscribe to Superflow. Now let's go to our second comment. In order to get more clarity around our questions of why customers should use or switch to Superbase and how the infrastructure helps customers scale, it would be really helpful to have a customer story option on the top navigation. We realize that you link to some customer stories lower on the landing page, but we think it would be much better to make those stories more prominent at the top. It would also be great if those stories told us more about how Superbase and Superbase's infrastructure help those companies scale from a technical point of view. Now go into our next comment. Oh, this looks a bit familiar. Though we do prefer using our own collaboration API. Hashtag #UseVelt. Now our next comment is about how this text is a bit of an overstatement. You can't really build your app without leaving the dashboard. You still have to code the front end in some other program. It looks like what you can do though is manage your database and authentication always in the dashboard. So we recommend changing the text to reflect that. And the last comment we wanted to share in this video is about these data security points that you have at the bottom of your page. Data security is really important, so if you are compliant and have certifications, boast about it. Make it more prominent on your landing page, because that is something that developers would value. And that's all we have for you in this video. You can check out the other comments our team left in the Superflow link that will be in the replies. We even enabled guest mode on that page so that others can leave comments as well. And lastly, we invite anyone watching this video to install Superflow so that you can enable live commenting directly to your website.